Welcome back from the break, Ram fans, and to another week of Hot or Not. On deck tonight, we have a debate that's lasted long as football has even been a sport. Who's the GOAT, and more specifically, who's the best quarterback of all time? Plus, after I prove that Peyton Manning is the greatest football player to ever touch a football, Madeline and Casey will be on the TV to go over some more Olympic sports. But before we get to that, Ella and I have to talk about our little disagreement here. Ella, this is a hill I will die on until the end of time, until I die. Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback of all time. I know you think Tom Brady is, and I get that. You know, a lot of people do think that, but it makes no sense.
See, that's exactly your problem, Brendan. You are a biased Broncos fan. I am not a Patriots fan.
But it's not biased if I know what I'm talking about.
I am not a Patriots fan, and neither is a majority of America. But we can still confidently say that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because I look at the numbers. I don't put my feelings into it. I look at the numbers.
Okay, hold on. Before you say any numbers, let me just say team stats do not define an individual player.
Then let me give you individual stats.
Okay, please do. I'd love that.
2-time Offensive Player of the Year, 3-time MVP. The man himself has 7 rings on more than just one team. 2009 Comeback Player of the Year. Those are all individual awards.
Ella, okay, hold on. You said 3-time MVP. I'll just go down the list. 3-time MVP. Peyton Manning has 5 MVPs, the most of all time. 7 Super Bowl wins? Cool. Peyton Manning's been to 4 Super Bowls with 4 different head coaches. He is the opposite of a system quarterback. You can't say that about Tom Brady, though.
But Tom Brady, half the time, he has been in the NFL 20 years, this is his 21st year, has been to 10 Super Bowls. That man has a 50% success rating.
There's the team stats. That's where the team stats.
He's been on multiple teams. That doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, technically multiple.
Yes.
So is Manning. He's been on multiple teams.
Yes, okay. You can say Bill Belichick, yes, Tom Brady won rings.
He had the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah, he did. But then got traded to the Bucs, defied all odds, carried that team.
Defied all odds?
Defied all odds.
No, he didn't. They had a great defense.
You know why? Because good teams wanted him. Good teams want the greatest player of all time.
Did you not realize how bad the Buccaneers were before that, though?
Yeah, and then players wanted to follow him.
They did.
If they thought Peyton Manning was worthy of those type of players, they would have followed him too.
Okay,
but he was on teams like the Colts,
Sanders.
The Broncos. They didn't want to be there.
What do you mean? Keep to leave. Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay, so he had a good team.
Demaryius Thomas, Jacob Tammy. I keep on going.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Winning percentage.
Okay, yeah, you can continue about winning percentage.
Tom Brady, yes, he has been in the league longer, but when you look at winning percentage, that doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
Because Tom Brady has lost 69 games in his career, has been in the NFL longer. Peyton Manning lost 79 and was not even in the NFL as long.
Okay, you can't say that. That's a low blow to Manning. You know he almost died. He had 4 neck surgeries, had to go to Europe, have multiple surgeries. In 2010, he still had a great season that year, and still, he broke his neck.
I'm not even going to argue what ifs with you because that's like saying if I was 200 pounds heavier and a male, maybe I could be the greatest of all time, but I'm not.
But you got to realize, you got to put respect on that for him to come back to play in the NFL and lead the greatest offense of all time. Greatest offense of all time.
Everyone knows the NFL stands for not for long. Things happen. You
yes,
get injured.
Do. You're right.
And
you're right.
Good talent goes down the drain because things happen.
Okay, that's fair. But you got to realize Manning came back and led the greatest season as a quarterback of all time. 55 touchdown passes, 606 points. Only 10 interceptions, over 5,000 yards. He still holds all those records 8 years later. And speaking of records, he still has the most 4,000-yard seasons ever. And he still has the most game-winning drives, and he hasn't played in the league in 5 years. Brady hasn't even, he's 3 games behind still. And he hasn't played in 5 years.
Okay, fine. We can talk about records. Most passing touchdowns in the playoffs. Okay, I know you feel passionately about how good Peyton Manning was in the postseason. So I want you to elaborate on that.
Of how good he was in the postseason? Okay, if you want to talk about postseason, how many times did Manning beat Brady in the postseason? Exactly, especially in the big game in the AFC Championship.
But if you look at the bigger picture, regardless of how many times he has gone up against Peyton Manning, Brady is 34-11 in the postseason alone.
I know, 4 of those losses are from
and he's played
Manning.
against better quarterbacks than Peyton Manning.
Whoa, okay, no. Well, there's no the thing. First of all, who did he play better than? Because Manning is the greatest quarterback of all time. He is. It's seriously, he still has a better touchdown rating in the playoffs than Tom Brady. It's a percentage. He doesn't have more touchdowns. Of course not. He's played so many more games, but he still has a better quarterback rating in the playoffs. It is less games. I will give you that, but you still can't look past it.
Less games because even though is Brady 44 or 43?
Brady 43.
43, turning 44.
He's an old man, I know. And I give him respect for playing in the league that long. I really do. But again, he hasn't had the setbacks that Peyton Manning's had. Peyton Manning could still be in this league winning five Super Bowls in a row with the Broncos.
That's a stretch, and you know
okay, I know it's a stretch, but it's still possible. If he's the Broncos still had Manning, they still could be in Super Bowl connection.
If the Broncos still had Manning, I think they could be even a more disappointing team than they were this season.
Okay, well, explain this. All of Peyton Manning's records, he's broken. All these passing yards, all Drew Brees' records, he broke all these records. Tom Brady finally caught up to those. He broke them. Mm-hmm. I think he broke them, a year ago or 2 seasons ago?
Yeah.
You still think that took him 4 seasons, 50-plus more games to catch up to Manning. He's a better quarterback. He plays the quarterback position better than anyone.
You like to argue Peyton Manning changed the game
of
the NFL.
He did.
I think the NFL is completely different than it was when Manning was in his prime. So, yes, Brady took more seasons to beat those records, but not only did he beat them, he beat Drew Brees' rushing yard?
Rushing? No, I think it was passing yards.
Passing yard record, because the NFL is a harder game today than it was when Peyton Manning was in his prime.
Well, they were both in the prime pretty much at the same time, though. They're only 2 years apart.
When are you arguing that Tom Brady was in his prime? Because he
07
won the Super Bowl
to 11,
last year.
07 to 11.
So I feel like he's not out of it yet.
Definitely 07 was his prime because he dropped 50 touchdown passes that year. But you could argue Peyton Manning was in his prime at the age of 46 when he played in 2013, when he had the greatest season. I will keep coming on to that. The greatest season of all time.
What about 2000?
2000 what?
Brendan, I didn't want to bring it up. 2002.
Okay.
Peyton Manning lost 41-0 to the Jets, right? With the Colts, right? And I know you argue because you're the biggest Broncos fan on this planet that is breathing that he is a better quarterback with the Broncos, but he played on the Colts. And when you are the greatest of all time, you have to do well with all teams. 41-0 to the Jets.
You're throwing this back 20 years right
20
now?
years. You know why? Because
I'll throw it back 12
Brady
real quick.
has been in the league longer and has never experienced a deficit like that. Never. Not in any of his games.
Okay, deficit, that was such... Okay, do you not realize Manning threw the most interceptions his rookie year? Mm-hmm. Okay, but if we're bringing up the Jets real quick. Tom Brady lost in 2009 to Mark Sanchez at Foxborough. Just at the end of the day, Peyton Manning, and this is just my end thing about Peyton Manning, 5 MVPs, and he just revolutionized the position, honestly, on all aspects, from changing the game at the line of scrimmage. My end argument is Tom Brady is the most successful player of all time.
Smartest player of all time.
I'm glad we agree. No, he is not the smartest. He's the most successful. Manning is the smartest and most efficient quarterback of all time.
But least successful out of the two.
Ella, I don't think we're ever going to agree on this.
7 rings.
I'm surprised we didn't fight.
Tom Brady currently has more rings on his hands than I will right now.
That's fair. But we can agree on one thing. We both miss these two going at it in the biggest moments. And with that, Madeline and Casey are on TV to pick up where we left off with the Olympic talk. How's it going?
Oh, it's going, Brendan. Thanks for asking. So 2 weeks ago, I argued that basketball should be banned as an Olympic sport. Banned might be a strong word, but I guess, yeah, I said that. And now I'm back to voice my support in favor of skill-based events like curling and shooting, and why they're vital to a successful Olympics. But Casey, you're not one for those events, and I'm not really sure why, so
right. I think it comes down to this, Madeline.
Okay.
Curling is boring, boring. It is boring. okay, who wants to watch curling? It's something you put on, like, it's like 11 p.m.
Who wants to watch half of the other sports in the Olympics?
True. A lot of the sports are boring. But I think curling, especially when you're playing in like the Winter Olympics when the time zone difference is, it's like on at like 11 p.m. You're like, wow, I'm tired. Let's turn on some sports. It's like in the background as you like, I don't know, sit on the couch. It's almost like baseball in a way. Because like, I mean, okay, I understand you like baseball, and not trying to trash it, but there, you know, some regular season games that are just kind of you put in the background and you kind of just like, you know, listening to it.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing for me is I have the stat right here. Right?
Okay.
So
I'm ready
soccer.
for your curling stats.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Curling stats. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
We're talking about soccer now.
Okay.
Anyway, soccer, right? Most popular sport in the world. Very popular.
Yeah.
250 million athletes worldwide play soccer.
Yes.
In the various levels.
Yes.
Curling, only 1.5 million throughout the entire nation. That's,
Okay.
I mean, that's just so minuscule. And I think for me, I don't know anyone who's ever curled in their life. Like, I think you say that they play at bars, but like, who is going to get into competitive curling? Who's going to be like a 5-year-old kid and being like, I want to be a curler when I grow up, Daddy? Like, who's going to be like that?
That's the incredible thing about curling is that you don't have to start when you're 5. You can take it up when you're 45, and then you're sweeping down the ice, and then all of a sudden you're on Team USA.
I get that, Madeline. But I think for me, the barrier of entry is just so big. It's a really difficult game to learn, and like not many people would know it because some Americans don't really play it. It's like a Swedish thing. So I think
I'm pretty sure America won the gold medal at the last Olympics. So I don't know what you're talking about. Americans don't play it.
Did we actually win the gold medal?
I'm pretty sure the men's curling team won the gold medal. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, they beat Sweden. It was predicted in The Simpsons.
Oh, wow.
It was predicted in The Simpsons.
Wow.
And it
I don't
actually
keep up with my
happened.
curling stats. I'm sorry, curling athletes. I respect you. Good job on getting the gold medal, USA. But I'm not really into curling, and I think it's very boring, and that's the main thing it comes down to.
I understand that. What about other ones?
Right.
Like shooting and archery.
Right.
Like how do you
archery,
feel about them?
I think the main thing I'll say for shooting is it's probably one of the most like the least athletic Olympic sport. You're just pointing. You're pointing and shooting.
Yeah.
You're pointing and shooting. It takes great aim, and like it does take skill. But for me, like the best part of the Olympics is the grind that goes into it, the years and years of preparation for these athletes. And shooting, like, it doesn't have that same level of preparation.
I would disagree, to be honest.
You disagree?
I would disagree. I think that, if anything, skill sports like shooting and archery take even more preparation. I mean, it is so unbelievably hard to do that. That accurate, that like amount of times. I mean, that's crazy. It's like golf. I mean, golf takes years to perfect.
It does.
And so does shooting and archery. And so therefore, I would disagree with that statement. I think it does take a lot of preparation.
Yeah, I mean, I respect people that do shooting, but I think for me, again, like, it's not the most athletic sport, and therefore, why is it in the Olympics? If we're trying to be, this is supposed to be the competition for the world's best athletes, the best of the best of the best of 1%.
But it's also like a history thing.
What, shooting's been around for a long time?
Yeah.
Like
shooting and archery are two of the oldest Olympic sports in the games.
Right. I know archery is.
At this point, it's kind of just like it's like a respect thing almost.
Yeah, I honestly feel like even archery is like better than shooting. I think shooting's my least favorite.
Yeah.
I think like why can't even
I could get behind that.
Just because something's been around for a long time doesn't mean we should keep it around. That's been shown a lot in this culture we live in now.
Yeah.
Is just because it's a long-standing thing doesn't mean that it should be around.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's definitely an argument for both. I think that there's an argument to keep it, and I think there's an argument to, put it away. It's probably not. I don't think I've ever watched shooting in the Olympics, to be honest.
Right.
Or archery.
Right.
But I think it has its audience, and it has the history behind it. Right. And I think that history is important when it comes to the Olympics. Like,
it is very historical. It's been around for like hundreds of years.
Yes. And so like at a point, I think that you do need to keep some of those traditional sports in there to really just kind of, keep it what it is.
Right. And I think I love sports. The more the merrier at the end of the day, and that's kind of my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But, well, that is all we have for you tonight, Rams. We'll see you next week for the final CTV Sports show of the semester. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful night.
I did.